In today's video, I'm going to share with you step by step how you can create a gorgeous wreath for your front door. Keep watching. Hello everyone, welcome back to Ramon at Home. I'm so excited you're here today because in this video, I'm going to share with you the easy way to make a gorgeous wreath for your front door. These are super easy steps that you can follow to create any wreath with any theme, but in this occasion it's going to be a patriotic wreath for your front door, and it is super easy to make if you just follow these easy steps. So if you are interested in how to create a beautiful wreath for your front door, please stay tuned. Don't forget to like this video and share with your friends. And if you are new to the channel, please consider subscribing. And if you are already subscribed, don't forget to turn the notification bell on because you will not want to miss what's left for this season. You guys will still have so many beautiful DIYs coming your way. All right, well now I'm gonna take you into the studio and I'm going to share with you the materials you're going to need to create this super easy wreath for your front door step by step. Let's take a look. All right, everyone, so let's get started to create a beautiful patriotic wreath DIY for your front door. The very first thing we're going to need is one of these greenery wreaths, and you can find this at Hobby Lobby. I like to have them in stock here at my house because you guys know that I like to make a lot of wreaths for my Etsy shop, so I'm gonna use one of those. You may already have one also. You can just strip it down and use your greenery wreath. What I'm going to use is a selection of flowers in white and blue. So I'm going to use some lilac and some blue hydrangea. I'm going to use a plaque that I got at Etsy from an Etsy shop. So that's going to be our center. You can select any plaque that you may have. This one says God Bless America. And then also I'm going to use some twigs in red, white, and blue. I'm going to focus more on the on the blue and the white. On this case, I'll explain later why. I'm gonna use a selection of ribbons also in black, blue and white and red, and then I also love this one that has got all the sparkles. Is going to be our statement ribbon, so we're gonna use that. I'm gonna use 2 rolls of mesh material. You can find this at anywhere where mesh materials are sold. A variety of greeneries. I'm gonna use some sparkler. I love these guys right here with the stars. I'm gonna be cutting those 2 down. I'm gonna use also some red ornaments, and for my tools, I'm gonna be using my scissors because we're gonna be making a lot of bows, and my wire cutters. And then also, I'm going to pre-cut some wires. So you guys know that I like to use the 18 gauge wire, so I'm gonna cut some down for our bows. What I'm going to do right now is I'm going to organize all of this. I'm going to do step by step. So let me clear this table, get step number 1 ready for this beautiful patriotic wreath DIY for your front door. Keep watching. Okay, so now that we know all of the materials we're going to be needing for this beautiful, easy, step-by-step wreath for your front door, it's time to get started. But before we get started, I want to take a second to say Happy Mother's Day to every single mother out there watching this video. If you are a mother, I really want to say I hope you have a beautiful day surrounded by your loved ones. And a special shout out to my mother and my grandmother who have taken care of me for so many years. I'm so grateful and thankful to still have them in my life, and it is such a joy to just say Happy Mother's Day to them and also to you. All right, with that said, I'm gonna take you into the studio and we're going to create a beautiful and easy wreath DIY step by step. Let's take a look. All right, so step number 1 in creating this beautiful patriotic wreath for your front door DIY, what we're going to do is we're going to fluff our wreath, and that means that we're gonna grab every single bristle out of our wreath and make it really fluffy and yummy. After we do that, we're going to do 2 loops of Decor material going all on the same direction, one on the inside and one on the outside, to make our wreath even girthier and thicker and just so delicious looking. What this is going to do is it's going to allow us to glue our plaque right here in the middle, but we'll have to add some ribbons before we do that. And for that, I have my hot glue gun ready. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab my first ribbon. I'm just going to drop it on the floor. You guys know that I like to do that. And then also I like to give it a fresh dovetail. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to pinch right here and I'm going to open up, and I did the exact same thing with my deco material. So what we're going to do is we're gonna give it a little loop like this, and we're gonna be in the middle of both rows of deco material. Now remember that you cannot, if you don't have the same materials, all you have to do is do a selection of other materials that you like, that you can find at your local stores or your Etsy shop. I always recommend to look on your Etsy shop, because you can find some really amazing things. And then also you help all of those creators. And so I'm always here for helping other creators and small businesses. And actually for Christmas this year, what we're going to be doing is we're going to be working with some companies that are going to have websites where you guys will be able to purchase some of the things that we'll be using. So that is my main goal this year, to make it as accessible as possible for you guys to get some of the items that I'll be using for the holiday season. But more on that later. Let's just focus on 4th of July first and this patriotic, beautiful wreath. So as you guys can see, I'm doing a loop and then I'm going around, and you want to give it a little bit of a turn to make it look more fluffy. So what we do is we grab 2 of those bristles and we twist it around, giving this Star Spangled Banner ribbon some loops of intertwining to my beautiful deco material. All right, so I'm gonna do one more right here, and as you guys can see, it's going to end right where the other one started, and I'm just gonna leave those loops like that, and it's gonna help us make it look fuller. Okay, so now for step number 2, we're going to add some of the greeneries that we have, and for that I'm gonna start using my hot glue gun. And what I'm going to do is I'm just gonna go ahead and put some like that, because I'm gonna add some flowers. And remember, every time that we add some flowers, I like to have at least some foliage to support our flowers, because, well, there's no flowers that grow without foliage, and I just like to make it as natural looking as possible. So for that, I'm going to add some of these beautiful hydrangea foliage, and just make sure that you put enough glue, because we do want it to stick. And if you want to make sure that it goes also in the greenery, so that way that pine really hangs on to it. So I'm gonna do one about every 6 to 8 inches going around my wreath. And you guys, this will be available on my Etsy shop along with other summer wreaths. You can go and visit my Etsy shop. The link is going to be down below, so you guys can go check it out after we're done. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to add some of this beautiful palm, and just make sure, because this glue gets really hot and I don't want you to burn yourself. However, I do believe that we need to use some of this glue in order to especially if you're making it for sale, or if you live in a windy area, well, we don't want it to, like, you know, fly away and in the middle of your celebration for 4th of July. And some of these, what I do, I just put some glue, and I'm very generous with my glue. I like to use the Gorilla Glue, you guys. You can find it on Amazon or also at Walmart. Walmart has it. However, it's a little bit pricier at Walmart, so I do recommend that if you are a wreath maker, to go ahead and get some of this Gorilla Glue on Amazon. And also remember to go all the way to the outside, and remember what happens on the right happens on the left. So immediately when you insert one on the left, you move exactly in the same position and you go to the right, or if you do the right first, then you go to the left. And these ones that are super tall, what I like to do is I like to chop them off in about half like this. So I'm gonna do both of them. As you guys can see, it gives you 4 instead of 2, but you do need this longer tail in order to have a lot of greenery. So I'm gonna put one right here on the inside, and then I'm going to add the other one right here on the inside as well. Like I said, what goes up must come down. If you've been following this channel, you know that those are the rules that I made up myself when I was working as a florist, because every time that I asked the designers, hey, how do you do that? They'd be like, I don't know, I just do it. And so what I did is, like, I paid attention, and I realized that every time that they put something on the right, they immediately went to the left. And maybe they really didn't know, what they were doing is just because they've been doing it for so long that they just did it. But I paid attention, and so I came up with those rules that what happens on the left happens on the right, and what goes up must come down. And I always have balanced arrangements, wreaths, centerpieces. All right, so that's enough greenery. Let me see, where do I need this piece right here? I'm gonna put it over here. That's enough greenery. So now what I'm going to do is I'm gonna grab my little plaque and I'm gonna decide where it is that I want it. So I want it right about there. For this step, what I'm going to do is I'm gonna move my hot glue gun over here. I'm gonna move everything over here because what I'm going to do is I'm gonna put 4 really big clumps of glue where I want them. So as you guys can see, I'm gonna do one right here, and be sure to smear it. Be generous with it, but then go ahead and smear it like this because we want bigger clumps of glue. So make sure you smear it like this, like so. And then what I'm going to do is I'm gonna grab my plaque and I'm gonna go kind of like this, and then I'm going to press like this. So what I'm going to do is I'm gonna put this down right here. I'm gonna press it down for a few minutes. I'm not gonna make you watch me press this plaque, so I'll be right back with you. Keep watching. All right, so I wanna share with you, it's been about 10-15 minutes since I glued my plaque down, but she ain't going nowhere. It's very well glued. So now we're gonna put our wreath back into our stand, and we're gonna continue with our steps, and that's gonna be to add some of the florals. And for that, I have to go get them, so I'll be right back. Well, I'm editing the video right now, and I do not want to finish this video without giving a shout out to Vintage Black Arabians, who became a member of this channel this week. Yay! Thank you so much for your contribution. It helps me to continue to create videos like this. It supports the channel, and you now can claim your badge and then also watch the members only videos. If you want to become a member like Vintage Black Arabians, all you have to do is click on the link below in the description box below, or click the join button, and you too get your badge, and then also enjoy the members only video. All right, you guys, I'm gonna continue editing the video, and I really hope you are enjoying it. All right, I'm back. So I'm gonna add some of my hydrangeas. So I'm gonna put them right here, and I have 5 of them. So I do want to make kind of like, remember we like to add them in sets of 3s, 2s, and 1s. So I'm going to add maybe 2 right here. I'm gonna start as I tell you guys. I'm having so much fun sharing with you all of these beautiful ideas for DIYs. And remember to keep these little clippings of the foliages because we're going to need them and add them at the end. Remember, I always like to add some of the elements at the end to make sure that our wreaths are very well balanced. And so I'm gonna cut them all at once because that's gonna save us some time when it comes down to our placement. Are you guys having fun? Thumbs up if you are enjoying these videos that I'm bringing you for summer. All right, so I was telling you what I'm going to do is I'm going to add some of these florals, and I'm gonna add a lot of glue, and I'm going to add one right here on the corner. And remember, I wanna make sure that they go into the greenery so they stick very well. So I'm gonna add maybe 2 together and adding a lot of glue. Look how steaming it is, making sure that it runs down. You could also do this with a hot glue pen, but you know, when it comes down to wreaths like this, I like to use the gun because with a pen, if you have a focal point like this plaque right here, you might smear it and it dries yellow. So that's why I don't like to do pen. So then what I'm going to do is I'm gonna kind of go like this. So I'm gonna add 1 right here, and I am running out of glue, but I'm always telling you to have all of your tools at the ready. So I have another glue stick right here. So I'm gonna insert it, and I'm gonna add a little bit more of glue. And so I'm gonna select right here, like that. I don't want it to cover my letters, so I'm gonna make sure that I move it like this. And so now what I'm going to do is I'm gonna do maybe a set of 3 over here on this side. Actually 2. So I'm doing sets of 2s and 1s in this occasion. I'm gonna grab my hydrangea and I'm going to add right here and make sure that it goes into the greenery so it sticks. Sometimes it's kind of like a wrestle, but look at that, it's not going anywhere. And so I'm gonna add a second one and adding a lot of glue. These hydrangeas are from Hobby Lobby. You can find a whole selection of hydrangea at Hobby Lobby right now. They have some really pretty pink ones that I saw the other day. I was, oh my gosh, that'd be perfect for a wreath. But look at that, how pretty is that? So we did a triangle. I always tell you about that. You can always select the shape of your triangle, but you have to select a shape, and a triangle is the most pleasing to the eye. So I really recommend to do a triangle. So now I'm gonna save some of these foliages for later. Like I said, we're gonna add them at the end. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to add, let me see, I'm gonna add the bows, and for that I got this ribbon that is going to be the start of our show. And what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna go ahead and drop it on the floor, and I'm gonna dovetail like this. And we're gonna fill in the gaps with ribbon. I'm gonna show you how. I have my cup of wires right here, and I like to have all of my tools and florals on one side, so that way I can work on my wreath. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to make some bows like this. I want about an 8-inch tail, and this is kind of like a cellophane ribbon, and you want to make sure that you do your bows very tightly, like you can see. And I'm just gonna do 2 loop bows, and the way to know if they are perfect is if you put your fingers like this and they are at the same height. That means that you made a beautiful perfect bow. So I'm gonna do sets of 2s. So I'm gonna cut right here, remember, and then I'm gonna grab a wire, and I'm gonna wire this guy together, pulling really tight like this. And then what you do is you fluff your bow like this. So now I'm gonna grab this wire, and I'm going to grab a bristle, and I'm gonna go all the way down, and then I'm gonna wire it to my wreath. And look at that. And so now what I need to do is dovetail this end. And dovetail like this. Look how pretty. And you can always adjust the length of your wreath and then your tails as well. Let me do one more. See, I already ran out of that, but don't pitch it, because I'm gonna share a trick with this at the end. So I'm gonna open a new one, and then I'm going to continue making these cute bows. And once again, it's super easy. All you have to do is dovetail your end. Look how pretty this ribbon is, you guys. It sparkles so beautifully. Oh, I cannot wait to see it on the sun. And I really hope that you give it a try. I'm always telling you guys, if I can do it, so can you. So many of you know that I am self-taught when it comes down to wreath making and floral arranging. And I really want to encourage you to give it a try, because I know that it seems and it might look a little overwhelming when you're doing it, but trust me when I tell you, if I can do it, so can you. And I just want to give you some encouragement to give it a try. And if this is not something that you want to do yourself, just so you know, this will be available on my Etsy shop starting this week. So the link to my shop is down below. You can always go and check it out. And see how pretty this is? Just all of that sparkle really adds a lot of pizzazz to the wreath. And all you have to do is give him a little curve like this, and look how pretty that is. And make sure that all of your ribbons are really fat and fluffy. Look how beautiful that is, you guys. All right, so I'm gonna continue adding these bows. Actually, let me do one more. I'm gonna do one right here on the bottom. And while I do this bow, I like to let you know that our summer season with our home decorating ideas is, I am having so much fun sharing all of these ideas with you guys, and I know you are having fun too. And I just love to read your comments and the videos, because I know that you are enjoying them. And so be sure to leave me a comment down below and let me know what is your favorite project that you've seen here, Ramon at Home, whether it was a Christmas or a fall video or a summer video, or perhaps it was a home tour that we did. I just want to read your comments and make sure that I am giving you what you need. It gives me ideas also if you leave me a comment and let me know of DIYs that you want to see, perhaps decorating ideas that you want to see, and that way I know what you guys are interested in. It gives me ideas to create some more content. And let me tell you, like I was telling you earlier, my intention for this year's holiday season is to make it easier for you guys to be able to get some of the things that I use. So I have partnered with some companies that we're going to be working with, and you'll be able to go to their websites and just purchase some of the items, and I'm super excited about that. It's going to be so much fun. All right, so now that I did this, what I need to do is go ahead and dovetail my ribbon, and remember to leave some tails short and some long, because that's what's going to give your wreath a lot of character. Look at that, just like this, and make sure that you fluff them really good so they look fluffy like this. How cute is that? All right, so I'm gonna do a few more. I'm gonna get those off camera and I'll be right back with you, so keep watching. All right, so let's do a recap real quick. So far what we did is we fluffed our wreath, we added some of the Decor mesh material, then I added some foliage and some of this beautiful white, blue, and red ribbon that it was just added like a swirl. And then what I did is I added my plaque right here in the middle that says God Bless America. And then I added some blue hydrangea, and our last step was to add this beautiful sparkly ribbon that I am just so obsessed with it. I love the way it looks. So now what we're going to do is we're going to add some of the accent florals, and for that I bought some of this beautiful blue and white lilac, and I just love it. And what we're going to do is we're going to add some of this lilac all throughout our wreath using our hot glue gun. So what I'm going to do real quick is I'm going to cut a little bit of it, and then I always grab the head of the flower and then I kind of bend it a little bit to kind of give it a C shape, because that's going to help us for our flower to really bounce out, as you guys will see in a second. So I'm gonna add one right there. Look how beautiful that is. Just a little touch of white, and remember that I always like to add just one flower at a time and one color at a time, because that's going to give us the balance that we need. So I'm gonna add two right here like this. Look how pretty that is. And also I'm gonna grab another one right here. So I'm gonna move all the way down. So I wanna do one clump over here. I'm gonna cut. I'm gonna grab some glue, and remember to smear it on the stem so that way it really sticks to your materials like that. I'm gonna add one right there. And then this is a very long one, so I'm gonna cut it down. Don't be afraid to cut your flowers, because it is easier to play with them at the right length that you need them than if you just have them all long. I'm gonna add this one right there. Look at how pretty. So now I'm gonna do another one right here. I have about 3 stems of each, 3 blue and 3 white. So now I'm going to let it run like this, and I'm gonna bring it over here, poke it right there. Then I'm gonna do another one on the same side, but more on the outside, okay? So I'm gonna go more towards the outside of it. I'm gonna add this guy right about here. And that's gonna give us all of the depth and dimension that we need. So now I'm gonna move over to this side, and remember they all have to go on the same way. You cannot put one going north and the other one's going south, because you will lose your balance if you do that. So what I'm going to do is I'm gonna add this guy right here like that, and then I'm gonna add another one over to the side. Remember to give that head a little bend, and just make sure that you put a lot of glue on your stem. I am having so much fun, you guys. I love, if you know me and if you've been following this channel, you know that making wreaths is one of my favorite things to do. It is one of the first things that I learned when I started working at a flower shop, and we'd go in the basement and we'd just do wreaths for Christmas. We literally spend days doing wreaths every season, and I love it. I think it is the first chance that you get to make an impression at your house is at the front door with a beautiful wreath. And we had some amazing clients that would commend us to do some really elaborate designs, and I just love it. All right, so now I need to add some to the bottom. So for that, I'm gonna face it to me, because I need to kind of see where they're going. So I'm gonna do one going up and one going down, because remember, what goes up must come down. So this one's gonna be facing up like this, making sure that it goes all throughout like my wreath. And then I'm gonna grab another one, I'm gonna put it facing down, and for that, I'm gonna grab the flower going down like this. Just let the glue run, and I'm gonna lift up right here. That's perfect. All right, so now I'm going to do the same with the blue flower. So I'm gonna do this in speed motion, and I'll be right back with you. Keep watching. All right, so we've finished adding all of our beautiful lilac, and I just love the way this is looking. But our next step is going to be to add some beautiful red ornaments. And what this does, it makes it look festive, and then also it gives it that touch of whimsy, you guys, that you don't see very often. So what I like to do is I like to add a lot of glue to my ornament, and I'm just gonna grab a few spots like right here on this ribbon, and I'm gonna stick it in there right there, and I'm gonna do clumps of 3s, 2s, and 1s, as you guys know that I like to do. So what I do is I just take the little cap that it comes with, that you would usually hang it from. I like to add a lot of glue, and then I add clumps of 3s, 2s, and 1s like that, and just in some specific spots. So remember at the beginning of the video, I told you that I was gonna focus more on the blue and then on the white, because The reason is because there was a lot of red already going on with the mesh, and then also there's a lot of red on the ribbon. So I didn't want the red to overpower, because red is the color that would overpower the blue and the white. Blue and white are softer, and the red is a lot more, well, harsh. And so you want to make sure that you focus more on the softer colors and let that really harsh color to be the accent color. So that's why oops, and you have to make sure that you hold it. I forgot to hold it for a second while that glue gets stuck like that. There you go. And it is easier for the ornament to stay if you place it near the deco material. That's the only reason why you want to use deco mesh, because anything and everything really sticks a lot easier to the deco material. So I'm gonna add another one right here, right next to it. And I'm just gonna make sure that I press down like that. See, perfect. So now I'm gonna do another one right here, and I'm gonna make sure that I add a lot of glue. The cap on this one doesn't come out, so. Okay, so I have one here and right here, so I'm gonna go ahead and add one right about here. Look how in the deco material they just stay, because they latch onto it real quick. I remember when I first started this channel, I used to say that I hated deco material, but the more I work with it, the more I learned that it is a really practical way to make wreaths, and you really just hang on to all of those things. All right, so I am now done adding the beautiful ornaments to it. And the last thing we're going to do, you guys, remember I told you to save these clippings of the hydrangeas that we did. So now what I'm going to do as my last step is I'm just gonna add all of those foliages into this beautiful, beautiful wreath. And I'm gonna do it all the way out on the back, just to give it a little color of beautiful greenery, like this. Now I'm gonna go all the way out, like I said, as far out as I can. So I'm gonna finish this color of greenery around. I'm gonna put it on the door and show you what it looks like, so keep watching. All right, you guys, so I thought I'd share with you this beautiful close-up of this wreath and the way it turned out. I just love this wreath so much. It is so patriotic. And I do want to point out that I added 2 more hydrangeas, actually 3, one on this side, one on this side, and then the other one over here. And as you guys can see, it makes it look fuller and just more lavish. And the ribbon combination is so beautiful. I love the way the God Bless America with the striped spangled banner in the middle looks like. The ornaments, like I said, I just add that little festive feel to it. And all of the blue and white flowers and ribbons just create a gorgeous and lavish wreath for your front door that is sure to wow your guests. I always tell you that you only get one chance to make a statement on your front door, and that is with a beautiful wreath like this. I cannot wait to read your comments, so be sure to leave me a comment down below.